Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Zach. I am here today with Mickey, my co-host, and we're going to be covering the donations module overview. This is going to be an introduction into our donations module. We're going to talk about how you get it set up, your payment providers that are supported, and several different things. So I'm going to go ahead and just get right into our actually, sorry, before I do that, just a few housekeeping items. There is both a chat window and a Q&A window. Please feel more than free to use the chat window to talk amongst yourselves or ask questions to our team. For any questions that you guys would really like us to discuss more in depth or give you show off at the end of our time when our Q&A session comes up, please get those into the Q&A box. Mickey will be doing his best job to be putting any comments and questions to get you pointed on them or marking them as live for us to answer them at the end of the session. So once again, it's me, Zach, and my colleague there, Mickey. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. So covering our topics today, we're going to be going over who can use the donations module. We're going to be covering the setup of the module, how you create campaigns and how campaigns work, how you share your donations and your campaigns with the members of your club and people externally, and all of the statistics that we collect in the donations module and the reports. All right, so and just as a really big note, I know it says it down there in red, but this webinar is being recorded. They will be available at a later date. So if anyone, if you can't stay to attend the whole time, rest assured this will be available for viewing at a later point in time. All right, so let's dive right in to setup for our donate. Well, actually, I guess I need to take one step back and I need to talk to you guys about who can use the donations module. So let's go ahead and let you see what I am seeing. So I'm currently logged into our account today that we are going to be using to set up the donations module. For most customers, or actually rather, all clubs, districts, and zones who have an active payment provider as of today that is under Sage or Bambora are able to take advantage of the donations module. So again, that's all of our clubs, all of our districts, and all of our zones. As long as they have a supported payment provider, Bambora or Sage, as of today, they can take advantage of the donation module with no additional effort from our team. We are looking at expanding the donations module payment providers to more of our customers across the world, and we should have some announcement about that in the near future. Lastly, before we dive into that actual setup of the donations module, as a confirmation, at the club level, you need to be a 30, 40, or 50. So that's 50 or better, basically a club member who can deal with the financial side of things and manage membership. At both the district and the zone, it does require administrative access as well. So once again, as of right now, customers who are using Sage or Bambora as their payment providers can take advantage of the donations module. And today we are doing it with a Bambora setup. So I am going to jump right into the donations module. As you guys can see, I am logged into the members area for our Rotary Club of Azure Metro here. We can see along the top, we have our menu bar starting with admin on the far left, all the way to membership success on the far right. We see the donations module here. Clicking on donations will give us some of our donation setting items, and clicking on donation settings will take us right into the setup. So because this account has not actually been used as of yet, and not set up, the donations module is not yet ready for use. We can do that by going through the setup process. What the setup process is going to do is it's going to get us to create our initial master donation campaign that is part of the donation settings. And from there, once we've got the initial campaign set up, we'll be able to add more campaigns and configure which campaigns are available on the default donations page. So let's go ahead and get started. So right at the top, we have the title of our donation. This is going to tell this is one of the ways we are helping to tell the people who are arriving on our page what this donation or fundraising is for. I am just going to go with donate to the club for our initial campaign. And we are going to leave our donation code as just DON. Donation or campaign codes are used specifically to identify the transactions at your payment provider. For anyone who's familiar with using our event planner or my event runner features with their event codes, it is more or less the same feature. Every single transaction at your payment provider should be prefixed with this code DON, or if I changed it, so I could DON 2022 if I wanted to add a year moniker or anything else. Again, this makes sure that every single transaction at our payment processor, their order ID or their transaction ID starts with this DON 2022 number, and it will make it really easy for us to link those payments back to our actual statistics and understand where the money for any of our donations needs to go. Donation codes are absolutely required for every donation campaign, and as long as the club knows what that code means, that's really all that needs to be set there. We will automatically always add DON for our donation settings initially, and each campaign will also get a similar code based on an additional ID. We'll see that once we get into campaigns, but these are very important to get set up. So make sure that you set them and that there's something memorable or that your club or organization will understand what they are at the payment processor end. So donation listing description. This is the description that is going to show not only on our list of available donations, but also as a description for users when they arrive on the page. This uses our standard Club Runner editor. So any standard HTML, etc. you can put in here, including linking to images. So let's just grab a quick logo out of our image library. Oh, we do not have too many. Let's just grab a Rotary logo. Let's just grab this year's Rotary logo. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in there. I'll go ahead and center it. So nice little text and image. The description, so again, any HTML text you want to do, if you do have something like a video from YouTube or anything else, you can go into the source mode and enter any raw HTML. So really the limit for adding content is your imagination. Almost any HTML is allowed here. Just remember that it is going to be displayed on a page. And we'll be able to take a look at that in a few minutes. Moving down our page, we have the free form amount. This allows members who arrive on the page to enter an alternative amount of money instead of only pre-configured values. I do typically encourage clubs to use the free form amount, but along with that, absolutely make sure you set a minimum. This helps protect the club from the club or organization from any unwanted donations. It can also help protect against people just trying to test out credit cards. So not only do they need to make a minimum payment of $5, yeah, there's some extra security there, but if for any reason you guys do allow this free form amount value to be on, absolutely set a minimum amount to help protect yourself from drive-by donations. Now, you might ask, well, I would like lots of donations and small amounts would be great. But a somewhat unfortunate effect of any payment pages, if they're completely open and they allow very low amounts, they can allow some nasty things to happen. So this is one of the many ways we help protect donation campaigns from unwanted attention. So moving down this page, since we are on the settings page, we have the default donation campaign. We haven't set up any campaigns yet because we're just going through the settings. So for now, we don't have anything else to do here. Next option is our image. This will pick an image off of my computer. I'm going to go ahead and grab our Club Runner Rotary Club picture here. So in addition to our free form amount and minimum amount, we can add available amounts. So I'm going to add some very common donation values here: 5, 10, 25, 50, 100, and for the really generous, 250 and 500. So these values, 5, 10, 15, 25, etc., will all be available for donators to choose instead of entering their own amount, but they will also be able to override this choice and enter an arbitrary amount once they've arrived on the page and make their choices. This is just kind of to give some preset values and help your donators, a lot of the times, oh, hey, $10, they'll just click that and go through and make their donations. So for display options, we have some options on whether or not you want your donation totals and donation numbers to show. So as a great example, if you are trying to fundraise to a specific amount, being able to show how many donations you've taken for that specific campaign is fantastic. Same with donors. But for any reason, if you're uncomfortable with the public knowing this information, you don't have to have these boxes checked. And you can, of course, come back at some point in the future and change it when you're ready to. So I'm going to go ahead and leave these unset for this one, but we'll enable them for one of the campaigns that we do set up. We have a quick description by making a donation. This is also part of the listing. Actually, I think these listing, and I apologize, guys, I got mixed up. The donation listing and the donation description are different. So I'm going to go ahead and drop our description in there as well. I'm just going to make this bold, and we're going to try and make it red just so we can try and see a difference between the two. So this description should show up on the donations page, and the listing description shows up on the list. Well, again, we'll take a look at that in a few minutes, and I do apologize for that mix-up. Lastly, we have a confirmation message. So if you don't use a custom confirmation message, there will be no message shown. But if you do, this is the message that will show to your users. You can add other HTML, text, images, etc. Lastly, we have our donations notification. So this is to notify the donor once their donation has been completed. This system is currently using something that'll be coming soon in the future to membership success, which are sender and receiver profiles, which we're not really able to talk about today, but this still works with that same system. So right here, what we're actually doing is we are setting the sender profile. So I'm going to say this is from the Rotary Club of Azure Metro. And it's going to come from rcam@sync.sendgrid.net. So Rotary Club of Azure Metro is the club name, and that's who I wanted to show as. So whenever someone receives an email with their donation confirmation, or effectively a kind of a receipt of that they've made the donation, it will come from the Rotary Club of Azure Metro as the name, and the email address rcam@sync.sendgrid.net. So your club or organization, if that's not the best name for it, you can put any person you want there. So if you want it to be from the club's accountant or the charitable foundation or what have you, you can customize that name. Though very importantly for the email, make sure that you can receive replies there. That way people can contact you with any issues. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and we are going to save our donation campaign. It's thinking about it. It's actually quite odd it's taking that long. I am going to switch tabs just for a minute to take a look at some of our statistics and just see if there's anything going on. Okay, it is just this setting, and it was taking a hot minute there to go ahead and save, but we have saved. All of our current Bambora merchant account has been imported from our regular settings. We have all of our values available, and our donation settings is our current only campaign available. So let's head out to the website for just a minute. I'm going to use this home link. I'm going to open it up in a new tab, and I am manually going to navigate to our actual donate page. So here on our donate page, you guys can see that we have all of the values that we have prescribed. We can also choose another amount, enter any amount that we want, up to the limit of the club to process, and proceed through this. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes. Let's continue on with our campaigns. Actually, sorry, before we jump into campaigns, I do want to talk about our email templates. So on the left-hand side of the page here, you can see the donation email templates. There's only the default standard email confirmation. There aren't that many, but if the club was looking to customize it, they absolutely can by doing a copy of the email template, and it will make a direct copy of the full email template. And from here, you can go and click on edit, And from this editing page, you would be able to update any of the individual text or add and change your images here. So for example, if we had different text or moving out, if you have multiple campaigns and you want each campaign to have its own custom email, that is what the email template system here lets you do. We would be able to set a unique email for each one of our messages, or we can just use the same one for all of them. At the end of the day, it's our choice, and the system gives you the options to do that. All right, let's head over to campaigns. So what is a campaign, you ask? Campaigns are very similar to the actual donation settings page. Campaigns let us have multiple things that we're collecting money for all at the same time, each with their own statistics and analytics. And as we touched on a minute ago, its own email messaging, confirmation codes, etc. So we have our default club campaign that we're just accepting donations to our club, but now we could set up more campaigns. And I'm going to go over setting up 2 different campaigns today. I'm going to set up a public campaign that we want to show off to the world and that we'll have listed on our donation listing page. And I want to set up a campaign to collect fines. The reason I want to set up a campaign to collect fines is we frequently have clubs asking us, how do we collect some intent for our fines? Or, we have meetings, we want the members to be able to donate or make a payment really easily, don't have to log in, etc. And our campaigns are actually a pretty good match for that, as long as the account that it's going to go into makes a lot of sense for you guys. So let's get through and go through the setup of these campaigns. So we're going to go ahead and hit add. And we are at a page that looks very similar to our donation settings. As you guys can see, just to take a quick scroll down the page here, a lot of these options that we're seeing are almost identical to the donations page, to the point where we can actually see that the donations code has updated. This is now donation 1 instead of just donation. And as we keep creating more donation campaigns, this number will continue to increment. But of course, the club can customize it as required. So for this one, I am going to call this Coats for Kids. I'm going to be silly and sassy and put the number 4 in there. That's also going to be our permalink. And then for this, I'm going to go Coats for Kids 22. So indicating that this is the Coats for Kids 2022 fundraiser. We will once again allow freeform amounts, and we have decided as a club that the minimum amount we're willing to accept is $10. So given that $10 is the minimum amount, I am going to reuse my last amounts that I did, but get rid of that $5 amount. Unlike before, we are going to show the donation totals, the number of donors, and we will show it on the public donations page. For our description, we will go ahead and update this. Donate to the Coats for Kids campaign. Help us keep warm this winter. Go ahead and grab an image out of our image library really quickly here. Let's see. Do we have any good Club Runner images I can borrow? Nope. Or at least nothing that's really on point for this. You know what? The carousel might have something good. We'll go ahead and use this guy. Though I am gonna shrink it quite considerably. All right. So, and for our confirmation message, I will leave it alone. We will use the default confirmation message. We won't override it here. And for the donation confirmation, we do want it to notify. So we will select our custom and our copy of our donation confirmation, which in this case, it is the same email template, but if it was different and customized, that would be great. And then Rotary Club of Azure Metro, Coats for Kids. Coats for Kids at sync.sendgrid.net. So in this case, I have set up a special email address because I do want this to come from a different email address than our regular club. Obviously, that needs to be set up by the club in advance, but there's nothing wrong with using the default donation confirmation details or anything else that you've already set up. I'm just trying to add some extra flavor here. So again, we aren't going to use a custom confirmation message. We're just going to use the standard one. Go ahead and hit save. So we've set up our first campaign. It is public, but it is not a default campaign. So for our next step, we're going to set up our fines. We'll go through this a little bit more briskly because we've been through most of these things already, but we will take a little bit of time to talk about them. So we're going to set up fines. We'll leave the fines there. We're going to set up another fines permalink, and I'll add 22 because I always like knowing when things start or what year it was related to. I am going to allow free form amount, and in this case, I will still set the minimum to 5. I'm not going to set any available amounts in this case. I don't know what the members would want to find. Definitely as time goes on, we would be able to get better insight into the common fine amounts and then set them. You know what, let's just go ahead and set a few, 5, 10, and 25, just to have it on the page. So in this case, however, I am going to leave all 3 of these options unchecked. The club doesn't, no one making these donations needs to know what we've raised so far. We don't need to show the total number of donors. And this isn't really a donation campaign that we want available for the membership at large. We want this available just for members of the club. So the important thing is that showing the campaign on the donations page is a on-off feature. So if it's on, it shows up. If it's off, it doesn't. But the important thing to take away is that this donation campaign is publicly accessible. It's just not shown publicly on the list of donation campaigns. All right, make a club fine payment from the last meeting. We can use a custom confirmation. Thank you for paying your fines. All right, we don't, in this case, I'm going to leave the donation confirmation off, but of course we could do that again. We could, if we had a custom template set up and we had one just for the fine notification, we could set that up and send it. I will leave that off in this case, and we will go ahead and save. So now that we have both our Coats for Kids campaign that is public and our fines campaign that is hidden, let's take a look and see how this looks on the website. So once again, we're going to go up to the top here, use this home link to open it in a new tab. We're going to switch to our tab. And in this case, I am going to manually navigate because these pages aren't yet on our website. But first we have the donate page, which has not changed, but just to show you guys that, it is here. Once you have more than one campaign, the donations listing page becomes available. So we can just go to donations. And here you can see all of our individual listing page descriptions and details. Aha, you know what? I've made 2 separate different mistakes. This is quite literally the campaign sites. So let's come back to the admin area real quick and fix my snafu. Let's go ahead and edit the page here. So this is the listing page description. Please consider making a donation to one of our many active donation campaigns to help. Let's go ahead and save that real quick. I'm going to go back over here and we're going to refresh the page. And once that reloads, you guys can see, so this is the description list. This is the description page listing. So you get some text and area right at the top of the page to put more information up there. In addition, we have our default campaign. So if we wanted to, we can jump right into that and it'll send us back to the donate page. Returning to the donation listing, we can see our Coats for Kids is set up and actively going, but we cannot see our fines. So I'm going to kind of show you guys how you'll get to that. So at this point, you'd have 2 options to find the permalink, and we can actually go into the campaigns and take a look at this a little bit more in the back. So let's take a look at the Donate for Kids, and then we'll go back to our campaigns and check out a little bit more. So here on the Coats for Kids campaign, you can see the amount of money we've raised, the amount of donors we have. We can see that we can select any of our available donation amounts, and we can also select other if we wanted to add freeform. So let's just add $150 as our donation amount. We'll hit donate, which what this is going to do is it's going to prepare the payment page for us. So I've got all of my details here. I'm going to get my credit card number that I have pre-prepared. Let's see, Charles Woods. We just need to set, yes, I do know a future date is required. All right, an expiry year, 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3 Broadway, Oakville, Ontario. And that is our office postal code. So I am making a $150 donation, and this is going to be the first donation on this account. I'm going to go ahead and submit it. Success, we have made our donation. So you can see our donation has come through. It has used the default donation text, which is set in the system, and it will send us an email if we have that set up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. We're going to come back into our campaigns, and we are going to go to the Manage Campaigns page. From Manage Campaigns, clicking on this dropdown, we have 3 options: Stats, View, and Delete. The reason I wanted to come back here is this is really nice. Not only can you click on View, it will send you directly to the page that is this donation. So for each of your campaigns you set up, even if they're not listed on the public area, there is always a View link. When you're actually working on the individual campaign, when I click edit here, you can also see that you can jump into the stats, which we'll be covering later, or clicking on view, which sends you once again out to the public page. So it's very nice to have this as a navigation tool. So when you need to figure out what that URL is, or you need to grab it really quickly, you can. I'm gonna go ahead and close those tabs and return. So we have all 3 of our campaigns all set up. We've looked over how each of the campaigns have a landing page, and even when how the campaign is public for fines, it's public. It's not displayed anywhere, but it's public. So this would be a totally fine page to send out to your club membership to ask them to submit fines or other donations and continue going on things. So our next section is actually sharing. So I just kind of showed off that. So let's revisit that. So from the homepage of the website, there are 2 pages that are always available. There is the /donate page. This is your default donation. So whatever your donation setting is currently configured to either have as its default donation or one of its campaigns to show up as default, that's what the donate page will load. For any reason, if for some reason you guys have no campaign set up, which I can't show you in this case, the donations page will just redirect immediately back to donations if there's no available campaigns to be shown here besides the defaults. And there's also the donations page, which is your listing of campaigns. For any reason, if you need to get your campaign URLs, showing off again in the Manage Campaigns, we have our Actions column here. And from the Actions column, we have our View link. We can right-click and copy this link address to save it, or we could click View, which will open the campaign in a new page on our website. And from here, we can copy or cut the URL. That way we can paste it and put it in somewhere else. So once you know your campaign, so let's talk about the Coats for Kids campaign. I want to make sure that this campaign is featured really prominently on our website. So let's add some URLs for our donation. So we're going to trip into the website designer really quickly because we need to edit some of the content to get our donations shared. So now that I'm in the homepage designer, I'm going to click on Edit Navigation to bring up the navigation menu, and we're going to add some new menu items. So first, we're going to hit Add New Menu Item, Donate Today. I am going to have this be a custom URL so we can link directly to that donations page. I have the Coats for Kids here, but I am going to link to donations instead of Coats for Kids. This will give them all of the campaigns that we have available. And I'm not going to open it in a new window, but I will have it show up as a primary button. And it showed up right underneath there. I'm going to add one more menu item. So I'm going to make a new menu. Actually, that's really long. So I'm just going to call it fundraising. Let's just call it fundraising, so it shows up on the menu, okay? And I'm going to have this be a folder. And for our fundraising, I'm going to move this up above the donate. And then I'm going to add 2 menu items to it. Coats for kids. And we're going to, once again, use our link type, select custom URL, and paste that URL that we saved a moment ago. Save. And just for convenience of the demo, I am also going to add the fines, member fines in here. Custom URL. And in this case, I specifically know the permalink that I set it up was fines, so I should be safe to set it up that way. I'm going to go ahead and publish our menu, because anytime we make any changes to the menu, it will not appear on the website until we publish the menu. Now that we've published the menu, we can head back out to the our public website here. I'm going to go ahead and refresh just this page right here. So now we have our fundraising and we have our donate button. Unfortunately, both buttons have pushed us over the limit for the amount of content in here. I would probably go back and move fundraising maybe under another one of our menu items. But you guys can see we have our Coats for Kids, which takes us right here. We have our member fines page, which takes us right to our donation for our member fines. And if we click on donate today, should take us to the donation listing where we have everything available. So once you actually have all of that set up and you're ready for it on the website, another thing that you can do is send those same links out to your membership. So we're going to go use the communication menu option in email services. I'm going to go ahead and hit compose new message. And to send it out to our club membership, pay your fines online. The next time you find yourself needing to pay a fine, please use this link. And we will take out the Coats for Kids and we will just update that to fines and we'll hit enter. Let's make sure this gets linked for everybody. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to copy it. And because the URL is also the thing that I want to make the link, I can copy and paste it directly. Thanks. Of course, if you guys were sending this out and you were doing a fundraiser for someone else in your club or external, you could, of course, include any of your custom distribution lists or contact groups. This account doesn't have any, so I'm really just sending it to the members of our club. Go ahead and send that out. And I know I walked through it. We walked through quickly before making a donation, but let's just do 1 or 2 more donations so we can see how that all works. So if we choose for the big donate and we go through here, once again, we can select any of these values we want, 50, 25, 100, or if you choose other, you can enter any amount you want. We'll choose 50 just for this one time. We click donate, and that once again sends us to the payment page. Now, just for confirmation for everybody here, the reason why the donor information is automatically filled out is because I am logged in to the members area. A guest of the website would have this information need to be filled in. So we'll do one more, Charles Woods. We will fill in our credit card number again that I have pre-prepared off to the side where you guys cannot see. We'll put our validation in. And just for confirmation, this is a 100% fake credit card only used for payment testing. That's why I can kind of put in whatever values I want and it goes through. Ontario and L6H as a partial postal code. Fantastic. No, I do not want to save Visa card 123. So you can see that donation went through. If we head back into the members area, I'm going to close these other tabs here. And we head back into our donations module. We would start to see that our donation analytics are starting to fill up based on the amount of money that people have paid us. Let's take a deeper look into the statistics that are available. So we've been doing a brand new setup. Obviously, there isn't a ton of fun information. There's only 2 donations, and I just made both of them. So let's take a look at an account that has a little bit more donation history, not much, but enough that we can get a better idea of what it's going to look like over a long period of time. So I have switched to a different club account. This is one of our many demo accounts. I'm good. I'm still logged in. And you can see here that our donations analytics has a lot more information available to it. We've received a lot more donations. Most of them were more recently, and many of them were just today. You can see that we had a good amount back in the 6th month of 2021. And since then, our donations have been really flat up until more recently, where we've all of a sudden gotten a whole bunch of money. We can see the analytics breakdown for all donations since for all campaigns. We can see what the average monthly amount is. Well, and right now it's the current month's amount. We can see what the average donation is over the course of all time. And we can see the total number of donors who have made donations to campaigns. You know what? I'm going to have to bring a note up to our team. I don't know if I can read that text all that well, so we'll definitely take a look at that. Moving down on the donation summary, we have an overall total monthly donations value for each month. I believe that this is the dollar value just based on the details that I can see here. I can see we've collected $946 this month, and that is the same amount. So it is the total amount of dollars or currency collected. We have a breakdown of each of the statistics of how popular each of our donation presets are. The presets will be matched if they choose other, but still choose to enter that value, it will get matched up with it, I believe. Under our donation campaigns, we can see each, relatively speaking, how much money each of our campaigns have brought in to date. And we can get a pretty good idea of the most recent 10 donations. From here, if we wanted to get more insight into our campaigns, we can actually hover over them and click onto them. So either for Coats for Kids or for fines. If we needed an export or a report of our donations, we can click on this View All Donations, and it will send us right into the donation report system. It's thinking. And then we're also going to take a look at the campaign. Actually, okay, while I'm waiting for that, I am going to actually head into the Coats for Kids, and let's see if that will load up for us. I'm going to get the View All Donations working. Oh, no, it loaded. So here very specifically is the Coats for Kids analytics report. And as I mentioned earlier in the day when we were looking at the other campaigns, we still have that edit. So if there's something wrong with Coats for Kids, I can actually go jump right into the edit, or I can head right back to the stats. And this View button will once again always take us to that campaign. So looking once again at the Coats for Kids, just like the previous page, we can see the total donations raised for this campaign, how many we've received this month so far, the average donation, and the total number of donors. So as you scroll down, you guys can see the most recent top donors. So we have that listed here, and the most recent donations showing in order. Each one of your campaigns has their own little analytics dashboard, so you can get quick insights into them, and they all contain a link to get into the donations reports. So that is the last thing I'm going to be walking over today is our donation report. So as soon as that loads up, we'll be able to talk about it a little bit more. So here we can get a full donations campaign report for all of the money that we've received to date. By default, it should load for all time effectively. You can specify individual date ranges. So for example, if you were only looking for the donations made for the first week of May, you could set a date range and update the result. If you don't need any date ranges, you can clear that out. Maybe you're only looking for small donors, so $5 to $15, for example. Once again, you can pre-configure your values and get your information spit back out to you. And of course, if you want, you can export some of this data. So you can either email the donors and send them an email, or you can export the information into a CSV report. take a minute. Nope. So I don't think anyone's seen this screen too frequently. Whenever you guys are running a export for donations or some of our newer modules, you will actually get this new nice little pop-up. This is actively refreshing, or it should be anyway. And in a minute or so, it should actually run the report and deliver us the data. There it goes. It's running. I can see the last updated. If for some reason I chose I didn't need the report anymore, I can cancel the bulk report. I'll hit no because I do want it to run, and hopefully it'll run here in a minute. And if it doesn't, we'll go ask the team why it seems to be taking a moment. I am not sure why this seems to be waiting here. Oh, there it goes. Of course. I complained and it did it. So it is ready to go. So I can now download the export and take a look at the CSV information. I don't want to pop that up because I have no idea what other Excel documents I might have open, and it might take me to a whole different screen. So I apologize for that. Lastly, we do have support articles available on the left-hand side here. Clicking on it should send you over to the donations category. In addition to the individual donations sections, we also have a full donations guide that takes you over all of the things that I have covered today, and we are frequently continuing to update this. All right, so that is our donations module overview for today. I'm going to be handing it over to my colleague Mickey to handle the Q&A portion. So Mickey, when you are ready, sir, please go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks, Zach. That was excellent. I'm sorry, give me one moment. I was just checking a few things for some of our members, and we had some great questions. So I'm going to share my screen, but I just have to reconfigure a few things first. Okay, so let's let's answer some questions live. So I'm just going to go through, and we're going to talk about some of these things now. Let me share my screen. Okay, just a moment, please. I will get here. Okay, so I'm going to, right, I'll go here. Now, hopefully you can see my screen now. I'm logged into, this is not a real club, this is another fake club called Rotary Club of Purple Metro. And I'm going to be moving around here, and we're going to be answering some questions. So Joanne asked us, the donation campaign URL, can you share that to Facebook or Twitter or whatever? Absolutely. So if you go to your homepage, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. I'll make this just a touch bigger. Hopefully you can see a little better. I'm going to right click over home. You can click on home, but I'm going to right click over this home button in the top right corner, and I'm going to open it in a new tab because I want to go to my homepage, and I kind of want to answer Joanne's question. I'm going to click on this tab here. This is our homepage, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our. Oops, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? It's not set up here. So I guess I'll just answer the question for Joanne. Sorry, I was answering some other people's questions and testing during this webinar. But yes, you can absolutely go to your homepage, look up the donations URL. You can share it on Facebook or wherever you'd like. So that URL is public, meaning anybody can access it. Really important, you do not need to be a member in order to use the Club Runner Donations module. Anybody from using on the internet can donate to your club, okay? So anyone from outside the club can donate using the Club Runner Donations module. Thank you for asking, Joanne. Cynthia has asked us what access level is needed to access the donations module. So I'm going to click here on donations, and I'm going to click here on donation settings. I can do that because I have the proper access level. Now, Zach touched on it, but it's worth going over again. So what I'm going to do is, this is a way for me to actually force myself to slow down. So we're going to talk about access levels. So first of all, just very, very briefly, all your members have access, have a club website access level. And I'm sorry, this is probably remedial for some of you, but maybe some of you don't know this, but everyone starts off with an access level. It's usually, the starting is usually 70. An access level of 70 or 70, or we call that regular, okay? And then the access goes all the way up to admin or level 30, okay? So, so what that means is your members are gonna have various access levels. You'll have your own access level. You need an access level of 30, 40, or 50 to use the donations module, okay? And I'll make that its own line. Let me make this a bit bigger so you can see it a little easier, okay? So these are the access levels you need in order to use the donations module. If you have an access lower than this, meaning level 60 or 70, you won't be able to access the donations module. The donations module in the member area is not for everybody. Let me repeat that. The donations module on your club homepage, where it's your public homepage, it's live, anybody can access it. That's for anybody. You don't need to log in. It's just for everybody. In the member area right here, you have to have level 50, 40, or 30 on the club website in order to click on donations and donation settings and reports and so forth. So everyone can make a donation. There's no access levels involved. You don't have to be a club member. Here in the member area, however, you need level 50, 40, or 30. Okay, so thank you very much for asking that question, Cynthia. All right, and then Robert asked a wonderful question. So we've kind of been seeing the nuts and bolts of the club side of the donation, how to do setup, and Zach went over all this stuff wonderfully. Let's talk about the actual donor side. Let's say I donate some money using your club website. An automated email gets sent to the donor. So that automated email, that could be a tax receipt. What Robert asked, does the donor receive a tax receipt? So the reason I want to answer this live, first of all, it's a great question. Second of all, I wanted to show you what the donor gets. So what I'm going to do is, now we've in our testing, we actually did some test donations before this webinar started. I'm going to try to make this as large as I can. Okay, and what this is the donor's side. This is not the club admin or executive or myself. I did a test donation, and this is the email I received into my Gmail inbox, and it says the purchase receipt for such and such. This is a transaction. I did a donation. I did a test donation of $25, and you can kind of see. Let me see if I can make this just a touch bigger. Actually, I'll make it just every donor will get this purchase receipt. So they can keep it for their records, and they should be able to use it for tax purposes. I guess I'll be honest and say I'm not sure if this can be used for tax purposes, but every donor will receive an emailed receipt every time they make a donation of $1 or $1,000, doesn't matter. They'll always get a donation receipt emailed to them that's going to look like this. So that is also an excellent question. Thank you very much, Robert. All right, so what I wanted to do is actually, let me just review here. I just want to kind of clarify, because I know Zach mentioned it, and it might be worth going over because we had some questions during the webinar, which is, what is a campaign again? So I'm going to click here on Manage Campaigns. I'm going to use some synonyms. In other words, I'm going to use different words for what a campaign is. So Club Runner calls what you can set up in donations a campaign. I've heard some other clubs say projects. different goals or fundraising activities. So that's all a campaign is. A lot of clubs, they just have a general donation account. You know what, would you like to donate $100 or $10 to our club? Great. But a lot of other clubs, they do, I don't know, they'll do a project in Honduras. They'll do a local Codes for Kids program. So that's kind of what a campaign is. I'm repeating myself because I know Zach went over this, but I did notice that we had some questions about that. I just want to make sure we covered that. Now, let's see. I think what I want to go over is kind of, and once again, kind of repeat what Zach mentioned, which is I'm going to open a new browser tab. So I'm going to click this little plus button, and I'm going to go to clubrunnersupport.com. Okay, so clubrunnersupport.com is our help site. And I want to kind of, and I'll make this just a bit bigger, just so you can see it. So I actually want to conclude with this because this is one of the best ways to get information. When you're setting up the donations module, or when you are doing anything in Club Runner, whether it be donations or attendance or setting up an event, clubrunnersupport.com is our main help site. So you can actually type in any kind of question you want. I want to talk about donations, or I want help with attendance, and you can receive any kind of help information on Club Runner Support. Now, what I want to do is, instead of typing in, a question, I'm going to take a slightly different route. I'm at clubrunnersupport.com. I'm going to click here on this first button that's called Guides. We have several online manuals or guides about some of our major core components. I'm going to click on Guides. It's going to take me to some guides here. So we have 4 main ones. I'm not going to talk about the other 3, but I do want to talk about this. We have an online donations guide. I'm going to click on it. Okay. And what this is this is a breakdown of the entire donations module. So as you're going along, maybe you've never set this up before. Well, we have a getting started section for you. If you're like, I'm 99% sure what a campaign is, what is that thing again? You can click on campaigns. So you can kind of see all of our appropriate help sections here on this donations module. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I also want to conclude by saying everything is being recorded. So this video is going to be recorded. We are going to be sharing it. Now let's go here, because actually that is one of our biggest questions. So the video recordings for everything will be available, okay? After all of the, sorry about the spelling, it's live, will be available after all the webinars are done. And they will be available on clubrunner.com/training. I'm going to leave that on the screen. The URL might be familiar. You might have used this clubrunner.com/training to register. So what happens is, I'm actually going to take you there because this is a big question, which is, I attended or I wasn't able to attend, but you know what, I'd like to see this later. So I'm going to open a new browser tab and I'm going to paste in clubrunner.com/training. And this is where you've registered. Right now, we are removing the registration buttons, obviously, for webinars that have finished. These registration buttons, I'm going to scroll down to find one right here. They will become view recording buttons. So as you navigate up and down the screen in a couple of weeks, usually by end of May, beginning of June, all the these empty slots will become a blue view recording button. So you'll be able to view the recording for every individual session. So and of course there's you can come back and check at the end of this month. On top of the video being recorded, we are recording everyone's Q&A. So if we missed any Q&A, I can see people typing some Q&A now. If there's anything we're not able to get to, then what we'll do is we're going to make sure that that person who may or may not have got a response in the Q&A, we'll give them a response separately. Now, as I'm going along, I can actually see some more questions. So what I am going to do is I'm going to answer them right now. Jenny has asked, can you customize the club donation receipt. So let's just go here. Okay, so what you can do is you can go into the donations module, and you can customize the email templates. So if I click here on manage email templates, okay, so I guess the short answer is, Jenny, yes, you can customize almost all the automated emails that go out. So what you can do is you can actually come here to manage email templates. You can find the email template that you want to customize, and I'm going to click the little down arrow, and I can edit this email template. So this is a little bit, I'm using a slightly different account than Zach was using, but you can actually, customize this email template and say, anything you want, because this is the outgoing email template. I'm going to hit cancel here. So thank you for asking, Jenny. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to answer another question Rosie has asked, okay, which is, can you download the guides to print them? So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click on this tab right here, and this is our donations guide, okay? So what you can do is, this guide is, I guess that what I'll say is, you can, if you're on Windows, the shortcut is Control P, Control and the letter P. If you're on Mac, the shortcut is Command and P, P for print. I'm going to hit Command and P. So you can kind of print these guides. They're really meant for using online, but I guess the answer is yes, you can print these guides. This is my web browser. I'm using Microsoft Edge, and I can actually print this guide and print it onto paper if I want to, or make a PDF copy. So the answer to that is yes, you can print the guides. They're kind of more meant for web, but that doesn't mean you can't print them. So yes, you can print the guides. Okay. Right this moment, I don't see any more questions. What I will do is I'd like to conclude. I wanted to thank everybody for coming today. We're really excited about the responses we've been getting to these webinars. So thank you for attending. We love sharing this knowledge. This is the first time that we have done sorry, this is the first time that we've done this. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go.
Mickey,
Oh,
I just cut you over there.
Thanks, Zach. This is the first time that we've done the donations webinar. So we'll be doing more of these, absolutely. Just to go over this very quickly, support@clubrunner.ca. Please do email us if you have any questions, not just on the donations webinar, but on anything in particular. Please do join our Club Runner community. That's clubrunnercommunity.com. You can use the login for your club website. You can post and you can get responses from other users, Club Runner users all over the world. So please do check out clubrunnercommunity.com if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, please do download our mobile app, clubrunner.com/mobile. It's free for iPhone or Android. It's your member directory on the go. That is our little motto for the mobile app. Please do explore the mobile app if you haven't already. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming today. I hope you all have a wonderful day and take care.